Welcome back, guys. We're going to jump right into exploring the benefits of investing in this region. Bear with me, I promise. I'll get to the good stuff about the best locations to buy, the types of properties, how to lower your taxes from 34% to 12%, the benefits of buying in a trust, or even with a business. I promise, I'll get to it. But we need to lay the foundation first. I've helped a ton of people invest here, but it's important to go over this stuff before we get into the specific properties so that you can be well informed to make the right decisions and the right locations. This will be an expansion on what we just went over previously, but a little bit more in depth with my personal thoughts as well. So let's hone in on real estate specifically in Mexico, all right? So we have the cost of living. The cost of living in Mexico is reportedly 64% lower than that in the United States. This means, all things being equal, that you can maintain the same standard of living in Mexico for roughly 36% of the cost in the United States as a whole. This lower cost of living could potentially translate to more disposable income, savings, or investment capital if you decided to buy something here to retire or a portion of the year like many expats, including myself. The real estate market. The real estate market in 2022. The real rate of growth in Mexican house prices was 2.19%. In comparison, U.S. home values have increased by 15% over the past year, and they're predicted to rise another 13.7% in the coming year. If these growth rates are applied to median home values in both countries, the potential increase in the U.S. from $295,000 to $335,000 is much larger than in Mexico, where it's $100,000 to $102,000. This data suggests that Mexican housing markets may present a more affordable and stable investment opportunity compared to the rapidly growing U.S. market. The slower growth rate could potentially represent lower risk for the investors, right? While the lower absolute cost makes property ownership more accessible. However, it's important to note that these are broad nationwide statistics, and the specifics can vary greatly by region and city in both countries. For this region in Quintana Roo and Tulum respectively, it is much higher. That's why we're here focusing on short-term rentals and appreciation. So, Tulum, Mexico. Tulum is a perfect place for your real estate investment for many reasons. Some include a smaller barrier to entry, meaning cheaper prices, than buying something in the USA or even Canada. There's basically no regulations compared to some states in the USA when it comes to Airbnb. Trust me, I learned this the hard way. Now that my house in Brooklyn is no longer able to be rented on Airbnb because of the lobbying from the hotel industry. That won't happen here in Mexico since they rely heavily on tourism to grow. I also have squatters in my home. That's a problem. Trust me, my Airbnb property in Brooklyn was shut down, leaving me crippled and forcing me to sell. I'm going through the process now. But for now, we'll be focused on 3 key reasons. It's a lucrative time to invest in Tulum. There's a booming vacation rental market. These are different types of homes, and some are better than others, and I'll explain that a little bit later. And the third one is the Tulum property values are continuously rising. So let's jump into it. Let's go over why it's a lucrative time to invest. Did you know that the vacation rental market in Quintana Roo, where Tulum is located, grew by an outstanding 50% in just 2 years, from 2019 to 2021? Even during the global pandemic, this market expanded. It didn't decline. Tulum's market grew by an impressive 66.22% in just 1 year, and the number of rental listings has increased over 44% if you look at AirDNA data. The Mayan Train will soon be completed as well, as I previously had mentioned. At the time of this recording, if you were to drive to Mérida from Playa del Carmen or Tulum, you will see all the tracks already laid down. The corridor between Cancun, let's say, to Bacalar is the hardest one to complete because of the cenotes and underground waterways that they have along the roads. They've been forced to reroute the tracks many times, and trust me, because traffic over the last year or two has been horrendous. It's as if I'm driving back in Brooklyn. The train is almost completed at the time of this recording. There's been a ton of advancements since I've lived here too. It's expected that this train will actually triple tourism here in the southern region of Mexico once completed, according to the UN World Tourism Organization. So now let's talk about the strong vacation rental market growth. Why is the growth happening, you ask? Well, it's a great question. Tulum's thriving tourism industry and resilient economy are playing a significant role. With the Mexican economy strengthening, tourism is on the rise, meaning more people are in need of vacation rentals. And this isn't just foreign travelers. A lot of domestic travel is happening as well, meaning a lot of Mexican nationals are visiting from other cities too. And this is important to note. I want to point this out really quickly. I think there's a stigma that Americans think that Mexico is this poor country, like there are not rich Mexican people. Not that you have to be rich to travel, but Mexico is just like the USA in the sense it's a fully functional country. I wouldn't call it a third world country. It has its pros and cons, but there is a lot of very affluent people here. There are regions where, yeah, people live in huts. I saw it while driving through Mexico, but think about the middle of nowhere, Nebraska or Iowa. I've never been there, but it's the same. I think people live in trailer parks. I doubt it's true. I just thought I should mention that floating stigma about Mexico because it's not like that, and nothing against anyone who lives in Nebraska or Iowa either. The demand in this region is set to skyrocket further when the operation of the Mayan Train takes place, which is expected to triple the number of tourists here in Quintana Roo once completed. The market needs to expand rapidly to cater to this expected growth, presenting a golden opportunity for investors just like yourself. There's another reason as to why I believe the rental market is growing as well. This is something I would like to touch on. Many of you likely have noticed a concerning trend, the dollar's diminishing strength compared to other international currencies, even the Mexican peso. I personally think that the peso could reach 8 to 1 instead of 20 to 1, what we've been accustomed to, and now it's sitting around 16 to 1 as I film this video. I won't go too deep into this, but I do have my thoughts that Mexico will be a huge economical power in the next decade or so. But I think if you're waiting for a recovery, I urge you to consider the wider context of the global economic situation right now. It's becoming increasingly apparent that things may not simply return the way that they once were. Politics, global powers, political interest, etc. I'll throw this out there really quickly too. I wouldn't be surprised if Mexico becomes a hotspot for minerals, specifically lithium. It's ranked 9th in the world here in Mexico, but it's close to the border of the USA because it's more north. Bolivia and Argentina have the most, but there is a demand for lithium for electrical cars, and this could be something that governments protect. The Mexican government could protect it, take the profits, and put it back into tourism. Just a side note. Since moving to Mexico, I've witnessed firsthand the effects of these financial shifts. Powers at play have been quietly orchestrating these changes under the disguise of a great reset. Though it's not my intention to stir up fear or conspiracy, I believe it's crucial to understand the financial landscape direction. Proposals for central bank control, digital currencies have all been floating around. These initiatives could, intentionally or not, devalue your hard-earned wealth. And that's why I'm here, to suggest alternative options that could safeguard and even grow your investments in these wild, wild times. Lots of people are coming here, especially for crypto. Whether it's vacation or not, they still need a place to stay. Historically, property has proven to be a solid, tangible asset, a refuge amid financial storms. Here in Mexico, the real estate market offers enticing prospects for investors just like yourself and myself. I see it daily: robust demand, responsible lending practices, and sensible prices, especially when compared to the soaring costs in major US and Canadian cities. As the value of the dollar fluctuates, investing in a tangible valuable asset like property can provide a certain level of security for the demand of tourism here. Plus, holding a portion of your wealth in a resilient foreign market like Mexico can offer a layer of insulation from domestic economic shifts. Now, this isn't about fear-mongering or pushing an agenda. It's about recognizing the changing global landscape and making smart decisions to protect your future. So, whether it's precious metals, cryptocurrencies, or international property investments, diversification is key in this evolving financial climate. And finally, how does all this tie to strong vacation rental growth? Well, in my personal experience over the past 15 months or so, I've spoken to hundreds of investors from my YouTube channel. I've helped tons successfully invest here, and these are the conversations that we have. This is a huge factor as to why people are investing here. The word is getting out. The prices are cheaper. There really is no financing. Diversifying investors' wealth and protecting it in a different country. Okay, so now let's move on to number 3. Tulum's property values continue to rise. What about property values? Well, I'm glad you asked. As the demand for vacation rentals increases, so does the value of the properties. With the expected tripling of tourism due to the train, rental prices are expected to rise, reflecting in an increase in Tulum property values. Just like I mentioned earlier, my price of my house has increased. This continuous rise in property values ensures that your investment will not only provide you with a steady stream of income, but also appreciate over time, enhancing your total returns. Tulum's picturesque landscapes and its rapid infrastructure development are causing a surge in land value that is nothing short of impressive. It's predicted that we could see an increase of 20 to 25%, according to Francisco Reina Gomez, the president of the 9th municipality of the Mexican Association of Real Estate Professionals here. Just a decade ago, prices of the land in Aldea Zama area witnessed a four-fold increase, and several other regions enjoyed a 20% uptick. Current infrastructure projects like the new international airport, the Train Maya Railway, and the creation of the Jaguar National Park are making Tulum even more attractive to buyers and sellers alike. There's an old adage, build it and they will come. What I've been seeing happening time and time again is big developers are coming in with master plans and building what you and I are familiar with back home, a neighborhood. They're building communities with amenities, restaurants inside, grocery stores, Apple stores, bars, more restaurants. And when you get in early, the prices rise over time as they develop more and more. Tulum's prime regions, such as Region 15, Region 8, and La Valletta, as well as Aldea Zama, are currently witnessing significant development and value appreciation, close to tourist hotspots and beautiful beaches. These areas are quickly becoming the go-to for real estate enthusiasts. But it's not too late. This place is a virgin in the real estate industry. And the same goes for the entire corridor from Cancun to even Bacalar. Puerto Morales is growing like crazy, one of my favorite places to scuba dive. Gomez himself asserted that many lands have already experienced an impressive 15 to 20% increase in value, further spurred by the ongoing infrastructure projects and private investments in real estate. Even the outskirts of the municipal seat, particularly the southeastern region, are prepping for future developments. A cutting-edge shopping center has been announced, reinforcing Tulum's status as a continuously developing destination. And it's important to note that even up in Cancun, 15 minutes outside the airport, we're almost done with Latin America's largest outlet mall. Versace, Nike, Coach, Tory Burch, all of them are about to open up in this huge, awesome outlet mall. So with number 4, I want to sum up. Hopefully this helped. With a booming vacation rental market, a rapid increase in property values, the shift in the world economies, and the golden window of opportunity before the tourism triples, now is the ideal time to invest in Tulum and in Mexico. With the right property, you could be a part of the robust growth story that's unfolding in Tulum's real estate specifically. I hope this detailed info is opening your mind up to see the potential here and the reasons as to why. This is all public information and some of my own personal assessments. See you in the next video.